If you hood educated, I'm glad you made it. Allow me to unfold my knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from a hood brother's point of view to all of you here, there, and everywhere. Now check me out. I gotta be 100 with y'all. Like, this right here is disturbing. I'm talking about it's disgusting. It appears that a cover-up is going down. And not just from the kids to the parents, but even law enforcement. You see what I'm saying? It seems like everybody is in cahoots with trying to get away with the murder of Nolan Wells. And that's just my opinion. You know, that's just how I see things. And the reason why I'm seeing these things this way is because it's too much fishy stuff going on. This should not happen. All the crazy stuff that's going on should not be happening. No, especially when things is clear and cut. Look, it should not be going down this way. It shouldn't be all these unanswered questions. But it is. You see? Now, did y'all know that Warren's mom tried to clear her son? She tried to tell a brother that, hey, look, you know, Warren doesn't even have a boat. And according to her, she said that Warren and Wyatt was begging Nolan, get on the boat, man. Come on, we finna go begging. Hey, come on, get on the boat. And he insists, nah, I ain't getting on the boat, man. I'm finna kick it with this girl, right? Didn't tell them how he was gonna get back or none of that. Just, hey, I'm finna kick it with this girl, man. Y'all go ahead on. But the cold-blooded part, what she said is, she said that Wyatt's boat got to taking on water. This is her words, not mine. And she said that at some point, his boat broke down. So now we got to ask the question, where did it break down at? Did it break down when they was 5 miles away from the island? 3 miles away from the island? Did it break down where, you know, people couldn't see them from the island and from the mainland? Where did it break down at? But she's saying that his boat broke down and it had to be towed in. That's suspicious to me. Very suspicious. Because how did the boat break down? And how did it start taking water? What happened on that boat for it to start taking water? You see what I'm saying? What happened on that boat for it to break down and they had to be towed in? You see? That right there just don't make no sense to me at all. And the cold-blooded part about all that is that the girl Katie that Nolan was talking to said, hey, look, when she left him, when they got done chopping it up, he went with his friends. So that part about him saying, hey, man, I'm finna kick it with this girl, y'all go ahead, that's not adding up. But not only that, though, because the parents broke their silence. And the father is not going with that. He's not going for that old, hey, my son said, y'all go ahead and, you know, I'm going to stay back. And he gave his reasons for it because he taught his son better than that. The same way how we teach our kids, hey, if you go with them, you come back with them. You don't leave your group. You see, everybody teach their kids that. Hey, who you going with? Where you going? Are you going to a party? Who you going with? You see? Yeah, because we need a record of what's going on. Who you going with? Okay, when y'all leave, make sure them the same people that drop you off. You don't go with nobody else. You stay with your group. And that's what his father said. Stay with the group. And for him, that was low. Check it out.
And I just want to ask you, the friends that Nolan traveled to Horn Island with, they say that he stayed behind voluntarily. Why would he stay behind?
That we cannot answer. I can't fathom why he would. Like,
I don't know why he would. We always taught him to, if you go with a group, you stay with a group. Mm-hmm. Even when he was in college, he would say, Dad, well, we're gonna ride down to a party or something in another city. So I was telling him, look, if you go with 5, you come back with 5. Do not separate from your group. 'Cause I always said safety is in numbers. And he always said, yes, sir. So he knew to stay with his group. So why would he split from his group? I don't know.
So that would have been unusual for him to split from the group.
Y'all see what I'm saying? Like, come on now. This right here seemed to be one of them boys that mind his parents. You know what I'm saying? Don't get no bad grades, no bad reports, don't cause no trouble, ain't got no arrest record or nothing like that. Now look, we ain't gonna play no games. I mean, we understand, you know, teenage kids, you know, they do their thing. You know, sometimes they listen to their parents and sometimes they don't. Come on now, y'all. We gotta understand that and we gotta be honest about that. But however, in this situation right here, it just don't seem right. It don't seem that he departed from his friends by his own will. You see, it just don't seem like that because of the lies, you know, because of the inconsistencies of the story. Like I said earlier, you know, the girl said, no, when he left me, he went with his friends. He said he was gonna get on the boat with them. And they saying, no, you know, he gonna get on the boat with her or he gonna kick it with her. Didn't say how he was gonna get back to land or nothing. Hey, look, he just gonna go over there and kick it with her. And the cold-blooded part about Warren's mother, right? Because, you know what? Allow me just to read her post that she posted. You know, I guess it's a brother that's on Facebook that was going in, you know, on the you know, on the whole situation. And she jumped into his DM and she had things to say. But in some of that stuff that she's saying, it just don't sound right. So just allow me to read that and then we'll go on that demonstration and then get back to the interview. Check it out. Good evening, Mr. Roll Down. She meant to say Boogie Lowdown. I am Warren's mother, the woman you have been talking about on Facebook and posting pictures of our family. I am here to tell you that we all love Nolan and are all deeply distraught. Your information is not correct and I ask you to please stop posting about Warren and our family. My son did not ride out with him, nor did he come back with him. Stop right there, y'all. She said that her son did not come back with him. From my understanding, her son was the one with the phone. So if he didn't come back with them, how did he end up with the phone? Let's continue on. The boat that Nolan was supposed to get on, Wyatt's boat, stop right there again. To me, it appears that she's trying her hardest to clear her son by saying that, hey, look, he got on Wyatt's boat. My son wasn't even nowhere around. So how did his name even get brought up in all that? Because he had Nolan's phone. Now let's continue on. He repeatedly asked Nolan to get one boat at 5 when it was time to leave. But Nolan wanted to stay with a girl and their boat was parked next to his. He was insistent about staying with this girl. Wyatt asked him several times to please get on the boat, and people heard him. My son loves him and would never in 1,000,000 years leave him. Warren does not even have a boat. There it go again. She trying to clear her son. Look, he ain't even got a boat. Nolan has been at our house several times and he is the sweetest friend. We all adore him. Again, when Wyatt asked for him to get on, he said he wanted to stay and Wyatt's boat started to fill with water. His boat ended up breaking down and was towed in. I don't know this girl that he wanted to stay with. I can just tell you though, my son had nothing to do with it in any way, shape, or form. What is you talking about? Your son had nothing to do with what? Y'all see what I'm saying? She's saying her son ain't had nothing to do with it, and this boy right here ain't even been found dead yet. You see? Like she knows something and she trying to clear her son. And I'm gonna start back over, y'all. It goes on to say, I can tell you though, my son had nothing to do with it in any way, shape, or form. A matter of fact, he was the first person that noticed he was missing when they got back to their friend's house and called his mother. Now, when you hear that, remember she just said that her son did not leave with them, her son did not come with them, but now she's saying that her son is the first one that noticed that he was missing when they got back to their friend's house. Now hold on. She just said they, right? That would imply more than one person. I thought she said that in the beginning that her son did not leave off inland to go to the island with them, and he did not leave the island to get back to inland with them. You see what I'm saying? She not making no sense. She contradicting herself. She contradicting what her son done told her, or what she believed, or is she in cahoots with everything that's going on? Because one thing we gotta understand is this right here, y'all. If you saying that your son did not leave with them, how did he get the phone? Not only that, you just said they, right? That would imply more than one person. But not only that, how you know he was missing? How you gonna sit up here and say, yeah, he was missing? How you know he was? The mom ain't even said that he was missing yet. But you already know that he missing. It don't sound right. She goes on to say, from a matter of fact, he was the first person that noticed he was missing when they got back to their friend's house and called his mother, the Coast Guard, and the sheriff's office. Warren is very responsible and always is keeping up with everyone else. Now, the first thing that sticks out to me is that it appears that she's trying to clear Warren of any wrongdoing by saying that, look, Warren don't even have a boat, right? So he couldn't have left him. He don't even have a boat, right? Somebody else got a boat. Wyatt. She threw Wyatt out there. This is Wyatt boat. That ain't my son's boat. But not only that though, she said that my son don't have anything to do with it whatsoever, as a matter of fact, right? Your son ain't got nothing to do with what? We didn't even know at this time that she made this post, he didn't even resurface. We didn't even know he was dead at this time. So what do you mean that he ain't have nothing to do with what? You see what I'm saying? That make you think like, what do you mean he ain't had nothing to do with it? Do with what? You see? And the other thing that she said that stuck out to me was that she said that Warren was the first one to notice that he was missing. Wait a minute. Hold on. How y'all even know he was missing before his mama even say that he was missing? His mama is the one that said that, hey, look, he's missing because he ain't come home, and your son had his phone. Your son had his phone, and not only that, according to the mama, your son did not initially call her and say, hey, look, check this out. We got Warren's phone over here. You know, we left him back at the island. No, your son didn't do that. You didn't do that. The mama had to track his phone. That's how she found out where his phone was. You see? Yeah, and once she tracked the phone, then all of a sudden, you know, hey, now y'all want to say that, hey, yeah, you know, we had the phone and, you know, we gave the phone to the mama and all that. Nah, She had to track the phone initially. And these are her words. These are her words, not mine. She said she had to track it. She used the, what's that, 360, you know, that, you know, y'all put on y'all kids' phone and stuff like that. I just use straight location. You know, but maybe I need to look into that 360 thing, because the way she said that thing worked, it was showing him everywhere, right? It was showing her son everywhere, you know, all on the island. But then she looking for her son, and the phone is saying that he on land. You see? So she sent her sister over there to go get the phone. It wasn't like, you know, the kid said, hey, you know what? I got his phone. Let me go drop it off to his mama. That ain't happen. It didn't happen like that. I believe in my mind, once they realized that, damn, she could have tracking on the phone. We gotta call her and at least say, hey, look, you know, we left Nolan at the island, you know, and we got his phone. We gotta say something, because if she got tracking on it, the phone is tracking to our house. this is Warren and his mama. And so they tried to clean that up the best way that they could. But it still don't look right. And then her post with the brother that she was talking to, it don't make things better. Check it out.
Parents got the phone back, and that's something that's important, Michael, because they track this phone on Life 360.
So Life 360, but when I received the phone call from Warren, I immediately called my friend Tashima and I said, hey, have you guys seen Nolan? Because her two sons, Jalen and Javon, like they grew up together. They played City League sports together. When they got into school, they played sports together. And so she was like, hey, like, okay, the boys were pulling up the location from Snapchat. So the Snapchat location looks completely different than the Life 360 location. So when I pulled up Life 360, it was different. It was showing everywhere the phone had been. Like I was like, well, it's showing that he's back on land. Like I'm not. He's like, but no, he didn't come back with us.
Well, how were you able to get the phone?
So we tracked it, and my friend Tashima went and picked it up.
It wasn't like they said we got his phone. They tracked it.
Y'all see what I'm saying? It don't sound like how the lawyer said, Crump. It don't sound like they was like, hey, look, hey, we got his phone. You know, hey, look, come get his phone and all that old type of stuff. It don't sound like that according to what they saying. It sounds like they called, or Warren called and say, hey, you know what, he's missing. And then tell them about the phone. They had to track the phone down, used Life 360 to find the phone. And the phone was with Warren when they tracked it down. So after tracking it down, she sent her sister over there to go get the phone. Now, as a parent, right, that would make you suspicious. Like, wait a minute, you calling me telling me that my son is missing. I'm tracking his phone to see where he at because I got his location. The location is binging at the place that you live at. You don't tell me that, hey, look, check this out. He missing it and I got his phone. You see, you don't tell me that. I got to use Life 360 to find out that the phone is at your house. Then I go and go get the phone. When I get the phone is tampered with. I get the phone and all the Snapchats on my son's Snapchat is gone. No videos, no nothing. Now, come on now. For anybody that got teenagers, right? People love to Snapchat. Especially when they go somewhere. This is the perfect time to Snapchat. Hey, look, check this out. I'm with my partners. We kicking it. Everybody look at what we doing. You see what I'm saying? For the women, you know, they get the Snapchat. You know, they got the filters on there and all that old type of stuff. They like to, hey, girl, and put those filters and everything to beautify them and all that. Hey, look. This is a well-known thing that people use. This social media website, people use this on a regular basis. And like his mother said, hey, look, he used this all the time. This is not normal. There should be videos of him and his friends on his Snap. There is none. That don't make no sense right there. Being that he's a Snapchatter, according to his mama, he taking videos and all that old type of stuff all the time on his Snapchat. And for there to be none, no. It just don't sound right. Check it out.
That Christina was going to briefly touch on. We want to get the phone and figure that out.
Backtrack on that. When we finally got his phone, me and my sister went through the phone. We went in his Snapchat. He had 2 accounts, absolutely nothing. It wasn't even 24 hours, which is how long videos and pictures stay in Snapchat. And I was just like, that can't be. Like, I've seen Nolan whenever he snaps, like when he goes and he's having fun, like he does videos. Like there was absolutely nothing, no saved videos. And even my sister was like, yeah, that's suspicious.
Nothing. That's unusual for these kids that got the Snapchats and all that old stuff. That's very unusual, especially on 4th of July. You kicking it, you with your peoples. You see? Come on, like this what kids do. Hey y'all, look man, you know I got Ryan with me, I got Wyatt, I got, you know, Warren. We out here, we doing our thing. It appears that somebody is trying to erase that history. Like, hey look, We can't let them know that he was with us like that. You see what I'm saying? Even though we went from the inland and went to the island and all that. We trying to erase everything. You see? We don't want to give them nothing to say, hey, look, check this out. He was with them and all that old type of stuff. Even though they ain't have no choice because they got the phone. They ain't have no choice because they got the phone, and then some other people still seen them with him. So they really ain't have no choice in that matter. They had to somehow come up with a story, and their story is, hey, look, check it out. He wanted to stay, and we left. Period. That's it. Ain't nobody seen him drowning. Ain't nobody hear him screaming for help. Nothing. Now, you got to understand something. If they want to say that it is a drowning, right? If you drowning and you know how to swim and you know you getting tired, right? You're going to yell for help. That's your last resort right there. I'm getting tired. I still got some breath in my lungs. Help me. Help. You see what I'm saying? All those people's out there, somebody gonna hear him yelling for help. Somebody should have seen him drowning. Because when you get to drowning, you get to flop in the water and all that. You just not finna be swimming and then just peacefully I'm just finna go on and drown. No, you finna panic. So you finna be flopping in the water. Help, somebody, I can't, I'm tired, I can't. You finna panic. You see what I'm saying? It appears like to me that it was a MOB type thing. And when I say MOB, man overboard. I believe that, like I said in my video before the last one, I believe that somehow, possibly, when they got to fighting on that boat for whatever reason, and tow that boat up, and that's why the boat started taking on water and had to be towed back in, and that's how he got away from his phone, because it was a man overboard type demonstration. And when he fell overboard, they left him. They didn't leave him how they saying that they left him. He was talking to this girl and then we left. Nah. They left him in that water. And then look, let's just be 100, right? Everybody got the same story. Like for people that's criminals, you know, when we do bad stuff, we all got the same story. We know we all got the same story because we understand that in our mind that, look, if we got the same story, it's going to sound believable. You see? Hey, look, check this out, man. This is what happened. You know, everybody stick to the story. Don't deviate from the story. This is what happened. If we say this right here, we good. We ain't got nothing to worry about. But it was too much going on. They're young. They didn't expect all this other stuff to be happening. And that phone is telling on them. That phone telling on them, because in my mind, I can see it. If something happened on that boat and then he went overboard, yeah, forget him. We mad at him. Forget him. We're going to keep going. Then the boat started messing up. He's gone. He's way back there now. He's drowning because he can't swim miles and miles and miles, and they've been drinking. He tired. The phone is there. Shit, damn. The phone. Warren, you take the phone. Warren, goofy, a lame, probably the poop butt out of the group, took the phone. You call his mom and say that we left him and he's there. You see? But see, his mama got him caught up because she making a post to, what's the brother name? Some Boogie. She made a post to him, you know, in his DM talking about he ain't had nothing to do with it. Do with what? You see? And he was the first one that noticed that he was missing. How he know he was missing? How did Warren know that Nolan was missing? How? The mama ain't even put the missing report out yet. You see? But he knew he was missing. He called the Coast Guard and all that. What you calling the Coast Guard and all that type of stuff for? See, it appears that Warren know more than what he trying to tell, but his mama in her panic is telling on him. And I'm telling y'all, it's just a matter of time. I want to see what this autopsy gonna say, because this autopsy is gonna tell us a lot. The cold-blooded part about everything is that the Mississippi autopsy is already done. If Benjamin Crump is sending that body all the way to a whole nother state already, that's telling me that the autopsy in Mississippi is already done. And we ain't heard nothing about it yet. Cold-blooded demonstration. This is Hood Educated, not Lame Related. Peace and love, and y'all take care of yourself out there. If I said anything that caused you to think, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And if you're feeling generous, please make a small donation to the channel. Peace and love.